Hello and welcome to Kedrick Farms. We're back with an episode of Westby Wisconsin Revised, and I've swapped out my auger here. I'm hoping this works a little bit better. I think this is one that has my fill plane fixed, so we'll find out in a little bit. I didn't have time to test, and the goal today is to keep getting through the harvest here. And so we definitely want to get the rest of these soybeans out of the field. So we're going to be doing that. And I'm just going to bring this grain cart down here with me. I'm trying to think. I kind of left this combine in the way. We're going to leave that running. We're going to get the combine fired up here and see if we can just get it out of the way. We're going to open up this headland just a bit. Let's try and lift the header up, put it back down. There we go. And we're going to take a little bit off in the corner here to give us some room to turn around. And follow this down the fence line a bit just to carve out some space. This is still pretty hard to see in cab, so we're going to switch back out of cab. There we go. And we're just going to shut that off right there for a second. Probably could have left the engine running. But I just want to get this grain cart down here and into a position where we can unload into it. And then we're just going to take some headlands off here. I think we're going to go around the field. I'm really hoping we can just leave him right there. Well, I already shut it off. I should have pulled him over to the fence a little bit more, but I'm really hoping we can make it all the way around. We should be able to. This is soybeans. If we were doing corn, I'd be worried about getting all the way around this field, but I think that we're going to be okay here with the soybeans. And yeah, we got a lot of harvesting to do. Been really busy in real life the last few days, so the videos have been a little sporadic, but hopefully we're going to be getting back into the swing of things here again now. And it's always exciting for me. Harvest is the funnest time, so getting to jump out here and start taking these beans off. This is good times here. I'm going to see if I can get down here and snap a screenshot without running into the fence. I love these trees in the fall. The coloring now with seasons on all the trees that they change throughout the year. It's the little touches like that that really make the maps come alive. So we are, I'll turn the HUD back on for a second. We are able to get a full 6 miles an hour now with this head, at least on the side hill, so that's pretty good. That was a little bit of a goofing off last episode to try and get to this point. And then I had some comments around the 80-something bushels an acre, even though we didn't fully fertilize everything, and I agree that is a lot of bushels an acre for this area of the country. I know in Minnesota right now, I was talking to some of the farmers, and 60 to 70 bushels an acre is doing pretty good. So to get into the 80s would be an amazing year, especially on average. Like, you may get a few spots that are that high in a field, but not as your average yield. We're going pretty slow up this hill right now, so I'm glad we're going to be doing mostly side hill. I think this spot is probably the steepest in the hill, in the field. So hopefully once we make the turn here, that's going to get a little bit easier. And then we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of curious to see up on this part when we're coming back. This is going to be a pretty steep hill to get back up, even when we're doing the long rows. So I'll be curious to see how fast we get going on the way back up here. But I think we're going to end up doing what we did in the other field, which is once we take a couple of rounds on the outside of the field, I probably will use GPS and kind of take it east and west down the long rows here, just to make our lives a little bit easier. And it matches up with the contour pretty close, so we won't be doing anything too crazy. But yeah, it's unfortunate the multi-terrain angle doesn't work for the actual growing crops. I'm wondering, hoping, I guess I should say, that that's something that Giants is going to figure out how to fix in the next version, because that would be pretty cool. And talking to everybody about selling the straw and things on the field here, I think we definitely need to get a mower and a a baler next year if we have the money, which it's looking like we're going to have a pretty decent amount of money. And we don't need that much mowing equipment because, we've just got these strips in that one little field, so we can get a reasonable sized mower and then pick up a pretty cheap windrower and a baler, and we can play the game with the weather and hope that we won't need to ted the grass, I guess. Because once you start having to buy all the different little pieces of equipment, it kind of starts to add up, even though the individual pieces aren't that expensive. So we're just hoping we can get by with the bare minimum. But even if I just got a baler and we could make some money on the straw here off of the fields, that would be extra cash for sure. So we kind of talked about it at a high level. I'm really curious to see the results of harvesting this year and how much money we actually made. I don't know that hard mode is really all that hard, and so we may just try out some new mods on our next series that will introduce more real-world prices for things, and see how that goes for a change. So I've been playing around with a few things in the background, so hopefully I can get those sorted out, and when we launch Clark Farms here in the next few days, we'll be able to show off some of those things potentially. Whoa, having a hard time driving from the front view. So yeah, we've got this field of soybeans. We're already at half full now, coming around the bend here. So we're more than halfway around this field, because we took the long side over there that kind of dips in a couple of spots. But we will make it back to the grain cart here, and we'll have to unload when we get back to the end of the field. So this should work out pretty good. What I'm curious about is as we get going on the straight rows, how inefficient that's going to be. But we don't really have another worker to drive the grain cart on this map. I haven't bothered to set up course play around the edges of these fields, so it would be impossible in my current state to use anything to get a worker to come out and unload me. So we're gonna just have to unload ourselves on the end rows and go from there, which is actually not too unrealistic for a small farm operation. I mean, I solo combined several fields where we just dropped a couple of trucks and a gravity wagon or two out at the end of a field, and one guy was running trucks and the other guy was just dumping the combine right into the different trucks or trailers, and didn't have a grain cart running at all. So you can definitely make do when you need to. So yeah, 70%-ish here by the time we get up to unloading maybe. 69. Not bad at all. Just gonna take this corner out, give me a little bit more room. And put our pipe out over there. There we go. We got a couple hundred bushels from that one round. So the grain cart will hold at least another round, probably 2, because the subsequent rounds are going to be less volume, since you cover a little bit less field each time you go in. And so I think what I'll do is I'll take one more round around on the headlands here to give me enough room to be turning around and such, and then we'll try to switch over and do the long rows back and forth and see how that goes. We may just cut a pass straight through the middle of the field here to open it up. But with that, let's go ahead and time lapse out the other pass around the headlands here, and we'll catch back up with you here shortly.
I did let you down, and I wake up staying and out too late, trying to start over new. What I wanted to be never came to me. I've lost my way to you. I remember you said when I pledged you my time, you would never get out of my head, you would always be mine. And I wake up staying and out too late, trying to start over new. What I wanted to be never came to me. I've lost my way to you. By the road with an ache in my head, in the wrong side of town, left you sleeping alone in your bed. Guess I did let you down.
Alright, so we've taken our headlands off. I think what we want to do now is set up that GPS track that I was talking about. We're going to, I'm trying to think where I want to start this. I think we're going to start it right here. So I'm going to clean this little piece off here. We're going on a nice 90. And I had GPS on. There we go. And we're just going to set a track right here for ourselves. We got a track, we got our width, we got it turned on. It should work. Put our header back down here. And it'll be a little bit awkward because of the way this field works, but I think this is going to work out for us. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. But yeah, this is one of those times where I'm maybe, wow, this is quite a steeper angle than I was expecting it to be honest. So probably not how I would realistically harvest this field as I'm looking at it, but this is one of those times where I'm finding the balance between driving down the rows and ease of use and following this field around. So I think we're gonna stick with this. It'll look a little bit less awkward as we do some of the more uphill side of things, and just keep plugging away on this field. I'm really excited to get into corn and just see how much corn we get out of this field. That's where we're going to have a lot of fun. I always love corn harvest. Now, I'm also curious, though, with corn harvest without a grain cart driver, I'm hoping we're going to be able to make it all the way from one end of the field to the other without needing to unload. These fields aren't quite that big, so I think it's going to work out, but I think what we're going to have to do is park the grain cart on this end of the field, and then likely get the grain truck and gravity wagon on the other end of the field, and that way at least when the grain cart gets full I can run it back up and unload it and bring it back down here and keep harvesting and not get so bogged down in running trucks back to the bin every time. So that's the hope, at least. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so we're getting through these beans now. If we take a look at the map, we've got a good chunk of beans left in this field. I think what I'll do is finish taking this row off and come back this way. Since we're only 20% full right now, we'll come back down to this end and we'll clean up this little corner piece down here so that we don't have to come back down here and worry about it later. I think we'll have enough capacity in the combine to go clean that up and then bring this back down to the other end. So the good news is we'll be closer to the grain cart in general. I don't think we're gonna need to dump more than a couple more times though, so I think this is gonna go a lot quicker now that we're done going around the outside of the field, mostly because we're not having to do those slow parts where we drive uphill for so long. I mean, we're going up this hill here and we're getting 5 miles an hour. For the most part, we're back up to 6 already, so definitely doing the side hill like this is going to be way more efficient for our slightly underpowered combine here. Not quite able to run even this downgraded header on these hills very well, so that was definitely something I wasn't thinking about. Now I'm not too worried about the corn head. I think the 6-row corn head, we're going to be fine. We should be able to fly through the corn with that, so that's our hope, at least. We tend to be a little bit optimistic from time to time. It's kind of odd we lost this row here on the hill. I must have just shifted down the hill ever so slightly. It does look like GPS is having just the slightest hard time keeping you on 90 degrees there, so we are picking up this missed row on the way back, but it's interesting that the hill is causing me a little bit of grief here. So we'll be at, 40-45% by the time we get to the end here. So yeah, I am feeling confident. We'll take this little triangle out in the corner and then be able to get back up to the other end here and dump our beans without getting full. Well, lazy farmer, I don't want to have to walk all the way back to the end of the field to get the grain cart. We're keeping our speed pretty good. We're dropping down into 4 pretty consistently on some of these steeper spots, but it still beats driving up these big hills. It's kind of interesting that I only get going 8-9 miles an hour with the header up, though. there's definitely something weird with both the brakes on these combines. They don't brake very well, and then also just the power usage on these headers seems a bit odd to me. That just having it on is draining so much out of the combine. You would think that it would be able to do a little bit more, even though it's running, but it's not really working any crop through the combine. So that would be where all the power would get used up. So I don't know if that's just because these combines are set pretty close to the limit on what these header, the horsepower requirements on these headers, or if that's a Giants thing where it doesn't know that it's actually working on the crop or not. You would think it would know because it's spitting chaff and stuff out only when there's crop going through it, but who knows? So we're making our way through this field. A lot of people were commenting in the last couple of videos that they think I should do dairy or cattle or something on this map. There are a couple of really good farms for that, but we didn't buy one of those farms, so I'm not sure I'm gonna tackle that in this map. I think I will be doing animals in my Clark Farms playthrough, and so the main farm there comes with dairy capabilities, B4 dairy capabilities, and then there's a really cool hog enclosure on that map as well. So we may start with some cows and then expand our operations and try out that new hog setup at some point on the Clark Farms map. So I think for this map we're gonna stick to what we've got for the moment. Until we see how much money we're gonna make at the end of the year here. It's kind of hard to plan ahead too much without knowing exactly what the economy's going to do here for us as we sell all this crop off over the next several months and seasons. Yep, GPS is a little confused. Thought we were on a different track. Should be able to get this going here now though. Awesome. So let's think here. We're at 53%, so less than I was expecting. And we've got a few dead spots here in the field for whatever reason. So I'm never really sure why these patches wither out early. One of these days I'll have to figure that out. I've not dove into seasons too much to sort out why that happens. I understand why some of the crops don't grow in the first place. I'm just always confused why they wither a bit early here. I don't have a problem with it. It represents like spots in the field that are going to have lower yield. I just want to understand the game mechanic and why it happens. We're crawling up this hill, just crawling. I just want to finish this corner section and then take this back over to the grain cart, and then we'll run a load up to the the bins here, and check out the auger that I swapped in. I'm really curious to see if that fixed my fill plane issues on dumping into the auger or not. I found a different version of it that I had in one of my other mod folders, because I don't remember that being a problem when I've used it in the past, so I think I was just using a glitchy version. If not, I know there's versions that work out there, and I can probably just go into Giants Editor and fix it. It's usually a pretty straightforward thing to fix a fill plane. So we've got options, but I'm dying to know what's over there, and we've been going at this for 30-40 minutes now, so I really want to go check that out. We're at 70% here coming up on this part, so we're almost there. I think I got one more round left here. Maybe I'll get it all in this one pass. Oh, this thing can't even turn around. If I'd known this was gonna be this much of a problem, I probably would have gotten the 9600 instead of the 9500. Well. It's too late to swap it out now. We may have to think about what we're gonna do for next season though. Maybe I can upgrade this one to a 9510. Take it up to the dealer and get them to tune me up. We missed one row over there. It's always painful when there's that one row left. Like, really? You can do it, little combine. Come on. Let's do this. And yes, I'm going to go over here and get this one plant that was on the previous strip. Because that's a useful utilization of our diesel. Alright, well, we got all of that, so we might as well take a strip back up to the end of the field and see how far we get. I'm sure we're going to be able to manage this. We're only at 73%, so... Oh, 2 miles an hour. Come on, little combine. Come on. There we go. You're doing it. It'll be nice, too, to take this bit off. This is the last of the super steep side hill stuff, so as we'll bring the next row back, which will eat up most of it, and then it shouldn't be too bad for the rest of this field. So that's the other reason we're kind of harvesting at this angle like this, is the cut down on the amount of up and down hill we have to drive. And we're gonna have a bit of a slowdown in how much we're bringing in as we just square off these straggler rows. I want to cut in and keep dealing with that, so we're just going to square this off here as we come into the end of the field. And then we'll have enough to dump here. I don't think the cart's going to be able to hold everything we've got in the tank. So we'll definitely have a full cart to bring back up to the bins. Because I think that John Deere grain cart is only 500 bushel, I want to say. I think it's a John Deere 500. Yeah. Alright, here we go. End of the row. Super exciting. It's 250 bushels in the hopper right now. So let's dump this out and then see how many we actually got in this cart. Go ahead and shut that off. Not the most realistic. Get you running, yep, 500 bushels. So I'm gonna just circle around behind our combine here. Whoa, whoa. Nobody saw that. And we're gonna haul this up. Oh yeah, this 4440 is struggling to pull this up the hill fully loaded. I like it. That is exactly what I would expect. It's a lot of weight when you fill it up like this. Although I'm not a big fan of how most things are just flattened on top when you fill them. I want my grain carts to be heaping full. Alright, get our auger out here. And we're going to dump this into the truck, and while that's dumping, we got to come over here and start this guy up. And I think I've got to turn on the start filling mode. And then once this is done, we'll back it out of the way so that we can dump the grain truck out here. Realistically, I'd probably have put the hydraulics up on the grain cart a bit to give it an angle and just dumped into it while it's already slightly angled. Lazy mode, but I think there's even a mod that you can set and have it like stop raising at a certain point, rather than trying to dump all the way up. But I don't recall. I don't know if that's a thing or not, because you'd have to be able to modify the animation. I'm not sure you can do that. I don't know. But we're going to get this grain cart out of the way here a little bit. And then we're going to jump in this truck. And I'm kind of curious how big 500 bushels is 70%. Cool. So I'd be able to put probably 3 grain carts in between the truck and the other trailer. Yeah, so the fill plane issue is resolved here, so it's only going into the auger. But it doesn't hold very much, and so it doesn't... The auger is slower than my truck's dump speed, so it fills up the small buffer this version of the Farm King has, and then it stops accepting anymore, so then the truck lowers itself back down. We might have to increase that buffer a bit next time. Let me see if this thing is doing its thing. And then... Yep, we've got a second batch in the soybeans here, so we're at 900 now. So that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and shut that guy off. We never bothered to turn him on. And we're going to bring this guy right back out to the field here. We've got just a little bit left to go here. We're all on the rows here, so I think what we're going to do, because this episode is starting to run a mite bit long, is leave this bit for another episode. We might do a bonus episode, because I really want to get Clark Farms going early next week. So we might do a bonus time-lapse episode of getting these beans off, and then jump back into this corn for the next real episode. I'm not sure yet. I got a lot of stuff to do here. I'm still working on over the next couple of days. So we'll see what I come up with. We might just keep going normal. We'll see how it goes. No firm decisions yet, other than recognizing we're at the end for today. So hopefully you're enjoying the series. You're enjoying these episodes. And you're excited for some of the other series I'm going to be launching here over the next week as well. So thanks for watching. If you are enjoying, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really helps the channel out. That's all for today. Kettert.